I am so excited because the Step Out TV shows are back live on T2I TV. And for those who don't know, Step Out is a series of interviews and motivational segments designed to bring the best out of you and your business. Therefore, we have the following TV programs. Our first TV program, which is our flagship program, dubbed Step Out with Oscar Bimpong, is designed to interview consultants, experts, talented people, and those doing exceptionally well in their communities. The second one is Step Out SME Focus. This is where we interview business owners and showcase their products and services. The third one is Step Out Youth Impact Zone. This is where we interview young people to serve as an inspiration to other young people. And the last one is Step Out Authors Corner. And this is where we interview authors to share what their book is about to the world. Join us every week at 7 p.m. GMT. Like T2I TV on Facebook and subscribe to the YouTube channel. To advertise or for further information, do WhatsApp +44 759 1152 983 or +233 55 580 3924 or email info@traintoinspire.com. T2I TV. We engage, educate, enlighten, and empower.
Welcome to another exciting edition of the Step Out with Oscar Bimpong TV show. And tonight, as usual, we are here to empower you. We are here to encourage you. We are here to cause you to have foreknowledge in pursuit of any vision that you have. What we always do is to always bring consultants, experts, talented people, people doing exceptional work in their communities to come and give us knowledge that can help us in pursuit of our vision and in life. And tonight is no exception. Tonight, I've got a powerful young man that is coming to talk to us in terms of technology, but that is really connected to the African continent. But before he comes, I want to do some few mentions of our sponsors. This program is sponsored by Train to Inspire Consultancy. That is your business training and consulting firm. That is for all your business training needs. Contact Train to Inspire Consultancy. And with Train to Inspire Consultancy, they work with consultants across the globe in different expertise for them to give bespoke training programs for our clients. So it's the best consultancy for you to really connect it. And for those that don't know, I'm one of the brains behind Train to Inspire Consultancy. Then also ALS Global Shipping and Logistics, your trusted import and export company based in Accra. ALS says if you are stranded at the port, call them and they will sort you out. Their customer service, service delivery, and also charges and everything is amazing. Just deal with them, and for all your import and export, you have your peace of mind. Also, ZPay Ghana Limited, your remittance and mobile money company based in Ghana. They just launched their USSD code for mobile money, and that is *270#. With ZPay mobile money, you don't need an agent to register for mobile money. Just at the dial of your phone, you can register for mobile money. And they call it freedom. That is, they say they are bringing freedom to the Ghanaian market. Be part of that freedom family. Then also Wheels for Sure, your car leasing company for every credit. Wheels for Sure says it doesn't matter your credit. You will walk out of the garage with a car of your choice. When you call Wheels for Sure, just quote T2I 2020 to get a good deal. Now, let me tell you this. Wheels for Sure have got packages, and I mean very good packages for everyone, especially all key workers in the United Kingdom. So if you're a health worker and you need a brand new car in which it doesn't really matter your credit score, speak to Wheels for sure. Now, if you want to contact any of our sponsors, their numbers and contact details are scrolling on the screen. Take their numbers and connect to them. Now, if you call them, tell them that you took the number or you got the number from T2I TV UK, and trust me, you are more likely to get a good deal. Now, also, if you want to sponsor any of our programs or you want to support what we are doing, you are more than happy to do so. This program is being brought to you 3 times in a week, and this is being sponsored by ourselves. Now, if you want to sponsor or advertise or any of our shows, just be happy. You can take the number of T2I TV UK or Train to Inspire Consultancy and contact us. And trust me, we are going to work with you. And also through that, we'll be able to grow this platform to always educate you and also create the platform where we are going to be our own voices, and not wait for third parties that are not even linked to our culture, to our knowledge, understanding, and the way we do things to really be our voice. Now, straight to business. Why are we here tonight? As I said, I've got this young man. I wouldn't say he's a man, he's a young man because he's got a lot of things to share tonight. And he's going to talk to us in the area of technology. But who is he that I'm talking about? This man is a lecturer at the University of Southampton, an IT consultant with research in the fintech space, and he is in the person of Dr. P.K. Senyo. Please welcome to Step Out with Oscar Bimpo, and you are live on T2I TV UK.
Thank you, Dr. Bimpo, for the welcome. And thank you for having me on the program today.
Thank you also very much for really spending your quality time, especially Saturdays in the UK. It's a very busy day for families, but you have really dedicated your time to be with us. Yes. So how has your normal Saturday been today?
Saturday is still time for work. As we are home and we don't go to work to the office anymore, we still have to work. So yeah, Saturday is still time for work. So I still use Saturday to work as well, because as academics, we work anywhere, anytime.
Wow. As academics, we work anywhere, anytime. Now, our topic for discussion tonight is fintech for financial inclusion and development on the African continent. Now, for an ordinary person that is watching us, what is fintech?
Yeah, thank you very much. So when we talk of fintech is not something that's new. Fintech has been there for a very long time. So if we talk of fintech, it simply means that we are actually using new technologies to actually automate, improve how financial services are offered. So you realize that some years ago, we used to have ATM. ATM is a form of fintech. But at that point, ATM was mostly focused on how the organization can provide accessible cash to individuals. But now in the fintech space, what is happening is that through technology, people are being offered the capability to be able to perform financial transactions on their own. So through fintechs, you don't need to walk in the bank. You can actually make payment wherever you are. Through fintech, you can actually be able to subscribe to certain services that previously was not possible. So in simple terms, when you talk of fintech is simply just application of technology. And when we say technology, we are talking about new technologies, which makes financial services available as at when you need it. And irrespective of your geographical location, you can have access to financial services. And that's what we refer to as fintech.
Wow. You remember back in the days when we had telephone booths, right?
Yes.
Now telephone booths are outdated now, right? Now, do you think that fintech over time can really make maybe ATM outdated?
Oh, why not? Because in the UK, I'm sure you know, how many times do you go to the ATM? It's been since lockdown. It's only last month that I actually touched money. So
mm,
more than 4 5 months, I've not touched the pound
mm,
because I don't need to touch the money. When I
mm,
go to the shop, I just tap because of
mm.
COVID. So I just tap my phone or my watch and off I go. So in reality, if we actually eliminate cash, we don't need an ATM. So to be honest, fintech and the use of especially mobile technology is going to make ATM obsolete. ATM is not a new technology that needs to be there anymore because people have devices that they can walk around with. So if we have merchants that are able to offer opportunity for people to make payment via their mobile devices, then there's no need for ATMs. But because part of the economy and part of the population do not also have access to some of these devices, and because some merchants are not digitized for them to be able to accept like electronic payment, that is why we still have ATM. So with time, when it becomes very diffused, people are not going to use ATM. There are some countries actually that are actually removing cash from the system. So if you go to these Scandinavian countries, cash in some places is not acceptable. So if you go to some shops, there's no, so the cash is not accepted. So in that case, ATM is obsolete. People don't need to use it anymore. So I would say yes, time will come, the ATM will not be necessary.
But can I ask it? When you look at Africa,
Yes.
do you think we are too far away of becoming cashless?
Yes, I think we still have a long way to go because of a number of issues. So, for example, infrastructure is limited. So it's not everyone who will have access to devices to be able to even make payment. Though we have mobile money, which is very good, a fantastic technology, a lot of people are not are not financial literate, so they are not literate. And you realize that these technologies are developed using languages like English or even French. So it becomes difficult for people who have not gone to school to be able to use this technology.
Mm,
So if we are able to actually tailor the technology to meet the needs of our context, and when I say our context, I mean in Africa, then yes, we can become cashless. But you see, in our context as well, it's also a traditional issue, like a cultural issue. It's a cash is king. My grandmother will tell you that I don't need money for anything. So far as I touch the money, I'm
mm,
satisfied.
mm,
So if she doesn't touch the money, she will not feel okay. So you can send her money on her phone, but she's not happy until
mm,
she can catch that money and touch the money. Then she's happy. Even yourself, I'm sure if you want to buy a car now and you need to just purchase the car online, a Ghanaian blood in you will push you
mm.
that, no, I need to go and touch that car, feel it
Yes,
before
yes.
I make payment for it because
Mm,
it's a huge thing. So I think it's cultural as well as technological issues. So these
mm.
are the reasons why it's going to take a while. But with constant education, if we educate people and let them know that these are the advantages and this is what the technology can actually help us to do, I believe in time we should be able to achieve that cashless society.
Do you think it has got a way that is going to bring financial inclusion?
Yes, of course, it's going to include a lot of people because previously, if you need to make payment, you have to go to the bank and you have these tellers, they'll be there, and then you have to queue in the bank. But because of mobile technology and what companies have been able to do with, for example, mobile money, it has made certain payments very easy for you to do. So people are now financially included, but there's still a long way to go. So, for example, according to the World Bank, there is about 1.7 billion people that are unbanked. But you know the irony, these people, two-thirds of them actually have mobile phones.
Mm.
So I believe that mobile money is a very unique and important technology that can actually help in addressing the issue of financial inclusion because mobile technology or mobile coverage is widely available in developing countries. So if you go to Ghana, most villages have, even if they don't have internet access, they have mobile network coverage. So with mobile network coverage, they can actually use their mobile money to do transaction. So instead of paying school fees, and paying it electronically. You don't need to give the money to some driver that, oh, when you go to the next town, go and give it to this person. And then you begin to hear stories. So I believe that, yes, mobile money or mobile technology, which we can classify under fintech, is something that can really help with financial inclusion. Because if we want to look at the developed world and what is being done here, they have the infrastructure. If you go to many places, you find 3G network. But bet you go to some villages in Ghana, for example, you'll not be able to have access to some of these networks. And that's why mobile technology is very important. So if you take a feature phone, and when I say feature phone, I mean the YAM phones that we talk about, people can afford it because it's cheap and it's not that expensive. And you don't need internet infrastructure. But as soon as you have mobile network coverage, you can be able to send and receive money. You can be able to make payment. And for this, that's what is going to help. And also, because we don't have structured institutions, and for example, we don't have credit like the credit scores that you think we have in the UK. So if you go to Ghana and you want to give loans to people now, people don't have credit scores. So what are you going to base their credit worthiness on to be able to give them finance? But with mobile money and how they use this technology, you can actually use this to be able to then look at their behavioral patterns and then decide that, okay, I'm going to grant them credit. So I believe that, yes, this is a very important technology that can actually help people with financial inclusion. And even aside financial inclusion, it can actually help people with poverty, to take people out of poverty. Why am I saying so? So, for example, if somebody who is a farmer needs money from the bank, if you go to the banks in Ghana are not ready to give money to anybody if you don't bring collateral. And where does this farmer have a big house or a big land with all these titles to go and get a collateral? But with mobile technology, this farmer can access a microcredit. So the farmer can borrow a small amount of money. And if he is able to pay back, then his credit score can increase, and then his credit limit also increases. And this farmer can then be able to access finance. And if he's able to access finance, he can expand his farm. And when he expands his farm, he can then get more money to be able to then develop. And in that spirit, the farmer is able to lift himself out of poverty. So it's not about always sitting down that government should give us lip service or just pay us something. I believe this technology has capability to take people out of poverty. And when we leverage it in a very strategic way, I believe it's going to help a lot of people.
Because you made mention of 1.7 billion people, right?
Yes, 1.7 billion people. As of 2018, when the Findex report was released by the World Bank, 1.7 billion people in the world, they do not have access to financial services. So they don't even have a bank account. And look at Ghana, how many banks do we have? And how are these banks widely distributed? If you go to my village, for example, there's only one commercial bank. So look at people in the other villages. How would they be able to access finance? Whilst we only have one bank branch, how many people can fit in that branch? It's not possible. So that is why technology is key, and technology is very critical to be able to address the issue of financial inclusion. Because setting up a branch of a bank is very expensive.
Yes.
But with mobile money, you don't need a branch. You don't need a branch. You just need agents, and agents have been instrumental in the drive towards financial inclusion because agents are widely dispersed. If you go to any community at all, I'm sure you find a lot of agents. Wherever you pass, you find them. So these become the shadow banks that can actually help to drive financial inclusion. So technology with this agent network is the way to go.
But don't you think people are thinking that it's really leapfrogging us ahead of time? That the tradition is the banks,
Yes.
and initially the banks were fighting even this mobile technology, but
Yes.
now they don't have a choice than to join them, right? And
True.
joining them means that it has now really helped to really broaden the base of this mobile technology. Now, don't you think that in adverse effect, it's also affecting the tradition of our accessibility to banks?
We don't need banks, not necessarily. So, for example, we need to look at what a bank is. So, for example, there's this new concept of what we call the neobanks. So, I'm sure you've heard of N26 in the UK or in Europe. So, this bank does not have a branch. So, when you talk of a traditional bank, are the ones that you find in developing countries where they have branch. So, everything you have to go to the branch. Even if you have online banking, you have to go to the branch. If you need to update your details, they say go to head office. That is not the way to go if we want to develop. So when you talk of banks, it's not always the physical structure. So there are banks now that do not even have a physical structure. And these banks are for people who are literate, so people who are digital savvy. So if you have your smartphone, you download the app, you have access to your bank because in effect, what do you do with your bank account anyway? You either receive money or you spend the money. Is that okay?
Yes.
That's most of the things we do. We receive and we spend the money. And so for us, you can be able to integrate electronic payment into most of the services that we use. We don't really need branches of bank. We will still need a bank, but we don't really need those big branches because we don't have the funding to be able to close that gap. So we need to leverage technology to be able to do that. And we need to actually intensify financial literacy. So we need to explain to people why it's important not to always think about the bank because technology can actually help them, can actually leapfrog the development. If we want to go with these traditional banks, there's no way we're going to catch up with countries. Developed countries, we cannot catch up with them because we don't have the funding to be able to set up bank branches all across, for example, in Ghana. That's not possible. Take these big banks, how many branches do they have, even across the country? Look at the number of years they have been operating. No, it's not possible. So, technology is the way to go. And I believe that if we are able to explain to people, we are able to intensify financial literacy to tell people that you don't need to walk into a bank or a building before you know you are actually using banking services. This is actually going to drive our leapfrogging in addressing financial inclusion.
Now, do you think we are investing in technology enough, especially in the fintech space, to really drive this agenda of financial inclusion?
Well, I would say to some extent, some investment is going on there, but it's not enough. To be honest, it's not enough. So we need a lot of change in government policy. So take Ghana for example. Though we have three giant network providers, they don't have network coverage, total network coverage in the country. So I will say that at some point, the National Communication Authority was pushing some of the network providers to go and actually make sure that they extend their networks to remote part of the country. So we need a lot of support. We need to invest in a lot of infrastructure. So infrastructure is key. If we don't invest in infrastructure, we cannot move forward. So we need to invest a lot in infrastructure so that people in any part of the country can have access to mobile network. And with this mobile network, people can then transact. At the same time, we also need to look at regulation because regulation has been always slow, very slow. So I'm sure there are very good fintechs in Ghana. They have the technology, they have the ideas to implement, but regulation is slow. Bank of Ghana will have to take them through a lot of processes before they grant them the licenses to be able to operate. I'm impressed with Bank of Ghana by passing the Payment Systems and Services Act, which is good. It's a good step, but we need to do more. That's what I would say. We need to do more to be able to help us develop indigenous technologies to be able to solve our problems.
Now, there is a lot of young talent in Africa that they need support in terms of driving this technological change, especially in the fintech space. I have met so many young people. I met a young guy that they were really, they have devised a system where your mobile money, you can invest some in insurance and also you can take some for savings and also for investment in other portfolios. So their system will be attached to your mobile money, and every time you put money in your account, automatically a certain percentage is taken for investment with other banks and all that. And they really walked through the whole of Ghana and there were no support. Now, how can we create such support systems for young people with good technological ideas, but there are no support systems for them?
Well, I think we need to also change the way we look at funding startups. So in Ghana, it's very difficult to have access to venture capital. So capital is key. Every time we look up to government, but their money, people have money in Ghana that they are putting under their bed. So they have money, but they don't know how to do it. That is why you find people investing their money into these Ponzi schemes. So we need to rethink the way we look at funding venture capital, because I believe that these young people can be supported within Ghana. But how do we build that platform for them to be able to support these young ones? That's very key. So we need to look at how we can provide funding. So for example, the government can put up a fund where these fintechs can benefit from this fund. And by benefiting from this fund, government can become part owner of their business, because I believe government has a lot of money. We can cut on the V8s and all the other things, that the luxury that we are enjoying as government officials, and use this money to fund these businesses. So I believe there's money in Ghana, and these young companies as well, they need to also think about allowing other people to invest in them. We have this mentality where if you build a company and someone wants to invest, you feel that they are going to take your company away from you. So you are not even open to people owning equity in that company. So we need to also change our mentality. People want to own 100% of something that is maybe $1,000 or $10,000 company, but allow people to be able to invest in your company as well. So we need to change our mentality. And beyond Ghana, we should look at outside, because there are companies that I know in Ghana that have been able to secure funding even in the UK. So apart from looking at money internally, we should be able to look at other companies. We should be able to look at other countries and see how we can access some of these venture capitals to be able to raise these businesses. But I believe we can start from home, and government is key in making sure that these technological companies are able to thrive in our economy. Because I believe if these companies thrive, government is also going to benefit. Imagine we have a cashless society. Imagine we have a cashless society. Government, one, corruption can reduce, because there's digital trail in everything you do. If you send money from here to this place, we know who sent the money from which account. But if it goes cash, we cannot trace that money. So it becomes difficult. At the same time, a lot of people in Ghana don't pay taxes. People don't pay tax, and government always talks about broadening the tax net. And I believe that if government is able to actually make the economy a cashless economy, they can be able to actually broaden the tax net. Because if people need to pay digitally, then they need to be able to incorporate that tax system in there. But because the money disappears, it's in cash, I give it to 3 or 4 people, then it disappears. But if we can actually trace that money and know where it's coming from, we can then be able to tax these people. So it's not difficult. We just need to actually think. We need to think. People in power just need to think a little bit, and then they can be able to solve some of these problems.
How do you think fintech impacts individual businesses and government?
Well, I think fintech is impacts individual businesses in different ways. So for individuals, for example, it brings you convenience. So instead of walking in the midnight saying that, oh, I'm going to buy electricity credit because my credit just ran out. No, you don't need to go out. You can actually use your mobile money to top up your electricity credit. And that's convenient. It's quick. You don't need to go and line up in the bank, wait like 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Bank is closed. I cannot do anything. No. So for individuals, it gives you that accessibility as well. And also, it gives you access to a wide range of services that ordinarily you will not be able to get access to. So for example, if you are using these financial technologies, it helps to create a track record of credit for you. So you'll be able to then know that people can then see this track record and see that, well, if you borrow money from for example, a microcredit firm, you are able to pay on time. So you create that digital trail, and then it opens up more avenue for you as an individual. And it saves you time, it saves you money because it's cheaper, for example, to send money from one person from your end to another person than giving it to a trotro driver who will disappear with the money or tell you stories that, oh, I gave it to my mate. My mate say, oh, I gave it to you, sir. And then that's it. So for individuals, it brings them a lot of benefit. The same as businesses as well. So it helps you to be able to keep track of your finances. It helps you with cash flow because you can actually have money to show for it. But if you're dealing in cash, it becomes very difficult for you. Uh, it makes your business efficient. For example, if you use fintech, so for example, mobile money, integrate this into your online business. You receive cash straight away rather than saying, okay, let a dispatch rider bring the item to you, then give cash to the dispatch rider to bring to me at home. That brings a lot of inconvenience. So many things can happen between that journey. The dispatch rider can disappear with your money. But if you are able to integrate fintech into your business, you receive payment immediately, and there's no story about it. For government, like I was reiterating earlier, it allows you to be able to digitize the economy. It makes it cashless economy, and it has tax implications as well. It allows you to be able to get money, to be able to run the economy. It allows you to be able to block the loopholes that are in the system where people can just put money in brown envelopes. If you transfer from your account, there's digital trail, so we know where the money came from. So we can actually check where the monies are moving in and out, and that can actually help government in a number of ways. So I believe that yes, fintech is very important to not just individuals, businesses, and governments as well.
What are the barriers to this financial inclusion on the continent?
Yes, I would say if you talk of barriers, I would say, for example, funding. So, like we're explaining about the company that was providing insurance services. So, there's a lot of funding gaps. So, companies need money to be able to build some of these technologies, but then there's no funding. So, I would say funding is a problem. The same way as regulation. Regulation is always lagging behind. So, you see that innovation is moving forward whilst regulation is behind. Let me give you an example. So, when the mobile network operators started operating, there wasn't any law that allowed them to operate. So at the point, Bank of Ghana was forcing them to work with the banks, but the banks also saw them as competitors. So you realize that in 2009, mobile money was not picking up because there was friction, tension in the ecosystem. But then it was only when government Bank of Ghana then brought in this e-fund or e-money policy that allowed the fintechs or the mobile operators to actually be a little bit independent, but at the same time keep their monies with the bank. That was when mobile money started picking up. So I would say regulation is always behind. So if regulation is behind, how do we address that? The Bank of Ghana should be able to set up regulatory sandboxes where you have companies that have very radical technologies, put them in that regulatory sandbox, let them operate, look at how the technology works, and learn from them and use that to regulate the industry. In that case, you know how they operate because they are operating within the limits that you have given them. Allow them to explore, allow them to play with the innovation, and then you can use that to regulate. So I'll say regulation is also a barrier. And then another barrier is infrastructure. So the national infrastructure is limited. It's not every place that you go and then you find mobile network. At the same time, you don't have internet connection in many parts of the country. So that is also a challenge. So we need to also look at uh, infrastructure deficits as well. The same as talent. There are the number of talented people who have the capability, people who have the expertise to build some of these technologies are limited in developing countries. So I would say we need to tailor our education to actually give skill sets to some of these people to be able to build these technologies. Our institutions are doing well, but there's still a long way to go. So I'll say these are a few ones: um, regulation, infrastructure, we talk about talent, and we talk of funding, and then financial literacy as well. Financial literacy is great. So that is also a barrier. People don't understand. Somebody puts money in bank. If you talk about charges, So if you talk about charges, they are not happy. So they put the money 2 cities. They want to come back and see 2 cities. If one pesewa disappears, that's it. The bank are selling my money. So now I have to put it under my bed. So we need to actually push a lot into financial literacy. That's also key.
I really want to concentrate on talent. Now, when a lot of young people hear coding, they just walk away. They are like, wow, this is not for me. Now, how do you make fintech or technology, because you are a lecturer as well and you are into the research space as well, how do you make it easier for people to fall in love with technology?
I mean, technology is all those people that are running away. My question is, don't they have mobile phones? Don't they use them?
Mm-hmm.
They have mobile phones, they use them. Nobody taught them how to. Facebook, have you ever read a manual for Facebook?
No.
No. So it depends on how the technology is presented. So it depends on how the things are presented. If you present it in a way that, oh, this thing is too difficult, then people run away. But if you contextualize it, you put it in their comfort zone, things that they are comfortable with, then they find it very easy. So in developing some of these solutions, you need to make sure that it is local, it is contextualized. When I was coding in Java, I said, what am I going to use Java for? Because it's just a black screen. I don't know how to apply this technology, but I was just learning it because I was reading foreign books to learn this how to program in Java. But then it was later on that I found out that no, these are the use of the technology. So as we develop, as we train people, we also need to contextualize the technology. We need to use local examples to explain to them. We make it easier for them to follow. And if we practicalize, aside theory, when we talk about theory, people get bored. So we need to put practical examples. For example, teach people how to control the traffic lights. Tell them to write a code that, okay, this code should be able to control the traffic light, because people can easily relate with traffic lights. But if you are teaching them theory about routines, about subroutines, about functions, if you call them that way, they will just run away. So I believe that the way we also teach is also very important. And these young people, they use technology. So we need to make it easier for them to be able to use the technology.
Now, you talked about theory, and for example, in Africa, or let's say in Ghana, you have a lot of young people or children that are being taught ICT on the blackboard. There is no computer.
Yes.
And now, and this is about the infrastructure deficit that you are talking about.
Yes.
Now, how can we really bridge this gap?
It all have to do with funding and money. And there's money. When we say there's no money, I disagree. There's money. There's money, because look at all these ministers. Look at how much they're enjoying. Look at their cars. While they claim they are serving the people, they need to cut back on how much they are spending, and they can use that money to provide the infrastructure. They need to cut back, and they need to give power to the district assemblies to be able to develop their community. Central government cannot do everything. And if you go to some of these cities or even towns, they don't even take property tax. But in the UK, I'm sure you pay council tax.
Yes.
These are things that are used to develop the schools in the community. So I believe there is money, but it all has to do with the way we are positioning our country. Because if you teach people ICT on a chalkboard, it's not going to wash. It will be very difficult for people to pick it up. They need to practicalize it. When you teach them a mouse, they need to see what a mouse is. You draw it on the board, they just assume it's something else. But I believe that the funding, investment in education is very critical. And I believe there's money. The government should just cut back on how much they are enjoying themselves and serve the people that they are serving. They should create train rail lines, and all of us should take the train rather than them taking V8. They should stop buying V8 and use that money to buy computers for the schools. So I believe there's money. There is money. They should stop enjoying. They should disclose how much they earn, so that we all know how much they are getting. Don't we know how much the Prime Minister earns in the UK? Ask the President, how much does he earn? Ask the parliamentarians, how much do they earn? They will not tell you. Go to University of Ghana, ask that, how much the Vice Chancellor earns. They will never tell you. But these are all public servants. So we need to cut back on how much they are getting and use some of these monies to be able to fund the basic education and provide the right the right infrastructure for people to be able to learn. Without that, we'll always be behind, and some of these problems will come back and bite us again when these people are old.
Because I really agree with you what you are saying in terms of them cutting back. But I think that is where the real challenge is, that we don't really have an open discussion of actually how our money is being used. And if you don't really know how your money is being used, then that is always going to be a challenge in terms of development, isn't it?
Of course, it's going to be a challenge, and we have allowed it to be because we are not demanding proper accountability from people we put in power. Because we can develop ourselves, we can develop our economy, we can develop our country, but we are not asking for accountability. We talk about it 2 or 3 days and then we keep quiet. But I believe when people are able to demand accountability, proper accountability from people we put in power, then they can then know that yes, the people are not just lying down looking at what they give them, but what they actually put in there for. So I actually like the passing of the Right to Information Act, but the law is still not, people, a lot of people don't know about it, and people, if they break that law, how are we ready to take people on? When you demand information from a public servant, are you sure they are going to provide that information? So if you take a particular ministry and you write to them that I need this sort of information because I'm exercising the rights under the Right to Information Act, are you going to get that information? And even if you don't get it, your own citizens will tell you that you are too no.
Yeah.
Why do you need that information? So I believe that we are own problems, and we can solve our own problems when we demand accountability from our leaders. So yes, that's our problem. So we need to work on it. We need to push them, and we also need to elect people who are honest. We need to elect people who are honest, and that can help us in our development. Because in as much as we talk about fintech financial inclusion, if we find people who love our country, they love what they want to solve problems, I'm sure they will be able to solve our problems. Why is it that when they are sick they run to the UK? They know that something good is here. That's why they run here. It means that they know that something good is somewhere else, so they can actually create something good for the country if we demand accountability.
I think I want to really divert into based on what you are saying now. And I think our mentality is everything. How can we change the mentality of the people or even our leaders? Because trust me, how our mentality is skewed is not really aligned to development, or even in terms of this financial technology and even driving change and technology on the continent.
It all starts with education. We need to educate people. But if you educate people half-baked, it's even more dangerous than ignorance. So we need to educate people. People need to be educated, but not just any sort of education where people are taught the wrong things. So people need to be well educated. And we need to also institute some sort of programs that will let people love their country. A lot of people don't love their country. They are not patriotic. That is why they don't care about what happens in the country. So it's all a matter of education. It's all a matter of teaching people how to be patriotic. And if we educate people properly, it's going a long way to help the country. So we need to educate people. It's very important. That's the first step. When we educate people, that is going to help. And also, we need to actually use certain people as examples we punish people. When people do the wrong thing, we need to punish them. Because if we let one person go, the next time somebody also do it because said you did it. That's why I'm also doing it. So we need to use people as examples to others that look, if you steal from government, this is what will happen. If you don't deliver on your promises, this is what will happen. Our politicians know better. Most of them schooled outside. They know the best for the country. They know what is good. That is why when they fall sick, they run away from Ghana because they know what they have created is not good enough. It's not good enough for them. That is why they run away. So they know the good things, but they will run away because they don't love the country. And when you suppress people, then you can continue to lord over them. So they try to suppress people. They suppress you to a point that even if they give you road, you have to thank them. Thank them for what? They are serving you. So these are things. But if we educate people to a level where they know that, look, we put you there to make our lives better, and if you don't do it well, we kick you out. So that is why education is critical. So we need to educate people to know that you have the power. You have given this power to people to be able to help you to improve your life. And if they don't do that, you have to kick them out and change them. And we also need to change the way we practice our democracy. Because I believe the way we have our democracy, which is set up today, is a problem. It's designed not to help people develop. It's designed to always make the politician better. So we need to reinvent our democracy. We need to look at how we practice it. And by doing that, we can actually develop.
How do you think you can reinvent it whilst we are being used to this status quo?
We are not used to it. We are not used to it. We are not used to it. It's just from 92. We are not just used to it. We can change it. Things we need to contextualize it. We need to look at what works for us. Who says 4 years, 4 years is good for us? 4 years, 4 years is not good for us. 4 years, 4 years is not good for us. Every
So
4 years. They use 2 years to campaign. They use 2 years to campaign, 2 years to set up a government, and 2 years to work. To work, what do they do? So it's not good for us. We should be able to have people stay in power for about 6 years, 7 years. But so far as they don't deliver, we kick them out. And this political party is even the worst. The way we set up our political parties is that's what is making it worse. We can't go meritocracy. Somebody is good, he can deliver, but because he said, if I go here, they'll say I am this person. So I don't want to work for Ghana. If I go here, they'll color me this way. So I don't want to go. So we need to look at people who can deliver, not political parties. They are our problems. Political parties are our problems.
Wow, that really sounds interesting because our kind of democracy is not tailored to us. It's not tailored to our culture. It's not tailored to our beliefs. It's not tailored to systems that we already have. So it's something westernized. But as you are saying, we can take it, make it our own. But that is what we are not able to do.
No,
right?
Because at this point, it's very good for the politicians. So why would they change it? Why would they change it? Something that they are benefiting from. Why would they change it? Because it's good for them. It's fine for them. So they are taking their S gracias and they are okay. Why should they take S gracia? While somebody work in public service for over 50 years or 40 years and you don't get anything, you get 500 cedis at the end of the month. Somebody goes to parliament for 4 years and then they get a lot of money. It's good for them, so they will not change it because they don't love the country. They love themselves. They are not patriotic enough. So that's why we need to change it. And before we can develop, we can talk about technology, we can talk about fintech. But if we don't change the way we practice our democracy, our institutional arrangement, we're going to suffer. We are not going to leapfrog. We are not going to move very fast. So you can look at some examples in Africa of countries that are moving very fast in technology and in development because they've been able to tweak their democracy to make sure that politicians are accountable.
Now, what can be done to ensure greater financial inclusion?
Well, if we want to ensure greater financial inclusion, then we need to look at a number of issues. For example, we need to educate people. So financial education and financial literacy is very key. We need to start from beginning, from basis. So we need to teach people that this is finance, this is technology, and this is what can help us. You don't necessarily need to work in a bank or a building to know that you are using financial services. We need to teach people how to use some of these technologies. So that is key. We need to provide infrastructure. Infrastructure is key. We need to change the laws. We need to make regulation flexible. Imagine that I want to set up a bank, for example, in Ghana now. And I want to set up a bank and I go to Bank of Ghana and I tell them that I don't need it. My bank will not have a branch. Nobody will listen to me. They will say, no. We are not ready. They'll tell you we are not ready. We are not ready because you will disappear with the money. So we need to be flexible. We need to be flexible in our regulation and we need to move at a fast speed because people have technologies they design and then the bureaucratic processes of even approving that technology is just too difficult to be able to leapfrog financial inclusion. So we need to change regulation and we need to do it at a very fast pace. We also need to invest a lot in infrastructure. Infrastructure is key. Without infrastructure, we are not going anywhere. And also, we also need to also look at human capital development. So we need to develop people. We need to train more people. We need to train more people in the technical skills of developing this solution. It's not always getting university degree that is paramount. We need to train people on how to use technology, how to code, how to program. For example, in the UK, even little children, five from year five going, they are learning how to code. We should integrate some of this in our curriculum. Teach children how to code so that we can be able to build that human capacity to be able to help us achieve financial inclusion. And I believe that if we're able to blend all these together, we will be able to achieve greater financial inclusion. And we need a lot of support from government to be able to achieve this. And I think government of Ghana at this moment is doing a lot, but there's more for them to do. They've tried, they are trying, but there's a lot of work for them to do. And I believe if they do that, they will be in a more beneficial position.
The curriculum needs serious overhauling, isn't it?
Yes, we need to change our curriculum. We need to change our curriculum. We need to change what we teach children. We need to contextualize what we teach them. We need to use our own examples. We don't need to use a lot of foreign books to teach children. Give them examples that they don't know about. No, we need to teach them things that they see, things around them. And at the same time, we need to train them for the gaps that are in our industry, where we want the country to go. What are the people that we need? What are the skill sets that we need to train people for? And that's what we need to do. So, yes, there is a need to change our curriculum to go with the changes that are occurring in the world.
But I think when it comes to information, in terms of contextualizing whatever we're trying to do, we don't have a lot of information of, for example, success stories of the people on the continent or Ghana on the internet. People's success story, you don't know how it started. Like in the UK, if I Google Richard Branson, everything from the day he was born till now will come up. Otherwise, it's not the same. And sometimes I do a lot of how to training. I do a lot of speaking engagements. And sometimes if you are researching into particular areas, especially on the continent, you find it so much difficult to get examples from our own. Don't you think this is all also IT based? That is all mindset. What do you think is the problem?
Well, I think it's cultural. So if I tell you, then you take. So somebody will say, if I tell you how rich I am, then you tell armed robbers to come and rob me. So that's the mentality. So, and a lot of people have a lot of experience. They have gone through a lot, but these are all tacit. It's in their head. They've not written it down. They've not put it on paper. So I think that's why we don't find some of these good examples. I would tell you there are a lot of people that are very successful in Ghana that they can share their stories. Just that some people believe that, oh, if I share, I'm going to lose that knowledge. Or if I share that knowledge, somebody is going to copy. And it's also our behavior. We like to always copy from people. We steal from people. We are not honest. So these are some of the reasons why people who are successful don't even want to share. But I believe strongly that there are people that are very successful that we can learn from. There are shining examples, even in Ghana, that you can learn from. So these are ways, like for example, our platforms that we can use to highlight these people, and also our mentality of not highlighting what is good from our end. We always want to expose what is bad. We always want to tell the whole world this is what is bad in our society. This is what is bad in our society. And then we end up not highlighting what is right or what is good. So we need to also create a platform to be able to highlight what is good things that are happening. And for me, I believe, for example, that mobile money is something that is very good, that is actually good, and that is actually lifting a lot of people from poverty, that we should be able to highlight that, yes, technology, indigenous technology, we will say, is actually working. So I believe there are a lot of people, and this is one of the platforms that we can actually use to highlight. And people should be open enough to share. If they share, it doesn't mean that they are going to lose what they have. So we should encourage each other. And I believe with time, people will find it appropriate to be able to share the experiences and inspire young people to be able to move to that level of development in the world as well. So there are good stories to share, I believe.
Wow. You know, when the conversation is very good, time always flies. And trust me, just 5 minutes to the top of the hour. And we've
Wow.
had a very powerful conversation with Dr. PK Senyo, a lecturer at the University of Southampton in the IT space and also a research scientist into the fintech space. Now, before I go, let me do some few mentions of our sponsors. This program is sponsored by Train to Inspire Consultancy, your business training and consulting firm. That is for all your business training needs. We are here for you. Just contact us. We work with different experts and consultants across the group to really deliver bespoke training that really meet the specific needs of your organization. Also, ALS Global Shipping and Logistics, your trusted import and export company based in Accra. ALS says if you are stranded at the port, call them and they will sort you out. Also, ZPay Ghana Limited, your remittance and mobile money company based in Ghana. They just launched their USSD code for mobile money, and that is *270#. Just dial it on your phone and register for mobile money. Then also Wheels for Sure, your car leasing company for every credit based in the UK. Wheels for Sure says it doesn't matter your credit. You will walk out of the garage with a car of your choice. When you call Wheels for Sure, code T2I 2020. And also, they've got good deals for everyone, especially all key workers in the UK. So if you are a health worker, you are a nurse, you are a doctor, whatever you do in the health sector, just call Wheels for Sure and they will sort you out with a car of your choice. It doesn't matter your credit history. You'll walk out of the garage with a car of your choice. Then, if you want to sponsor any of our programs or you want to advertise, just take the numbers on the screen and also call us. You can take the T2I TV UK or the Train to Inspire Consultancy number. Also, if you want to contact any of our sponsors, their numbers are scrolling on the screen. When you call them, tell them you got the number from T2I TV UK, and trust me, you are more likely to get a very good deal. On Tuesday, we are here again. And Tuesday is going to be another wonderful discussion. Tuesdays are dedicated for young people between the ages of 12 to 30 years. And what do? They come and share their story. They come and talk about what they are doing. They come and talk about youth empowerment initiatives. They come and talk about the things that are barriers to their success. And also they come and share their success stories. Why do we have such a program? We have such a program just because we want another young person watching another young person who's against all odds are succeeding. They become a source of motivation for them. They are not complaining. They are not talking about that the continent is difficult. They are not giving excuses, but they are taking the bull by the horn to really bring change and also changing the status quo in their own capacity and in their own scarce resources. So Tuesday, you cannot miss it. I've got a young man who is a political scientist, a student at the University of Gambia, who will be coming live to come and talk about how we're talking about youth leadership and resilience in the midst of crisis. And I'm really enjoying the Step Out Youth Impact Zone. Why? Because we are telling our stories in our own way and in our own voices. We are not waiting for third parties to do it on our behalf. So you can't afford to miss it. That is on Tuesday, 7 p.m. GMT, 8 p.m. British Summer Time, and 3 p.m. Eastern Time US. You can't afford to miss it on Tuesday. Now, Dr. PK Senyo, thanks for coming on the show, and we really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, your last word to everyone that is watching us, and that is, do you think fintech can help the African continent to really bring change?
Yes, I believe, especially in the area of poverty, I believe fintech is the way to go. Fintech can lift people out of poverty. Fintech can help them to be able to be on their own, create opportunities for people, create businesses. And I believe fintech is the way for us to be able to leapfrog and be able to go closer to developing countries. Fintech can actually help. So we just need to support the development of fintech and organizations that are trying to build fintech innovations. And that can actually help in development, especially in developing countries.
Thank you very much, and everyone that really wasted their precious Saturday time 1 hour with us. We want to encourage you that, thank you very much, but I want to encourage you to share this to somebody, drop this link to somebody for people to learn. We are now in the knowledge-based economy. You are who you are in life just because of the knowledge that you have. And your knowledge for today is not enough for your tomorrow. That is why you need to seek knowledge. And for T2I TV UK, your 1 hour with us is more than enough for you to read a book in an hour. Why? Because we bring experts that understand their terrain and they know what they are talking about to really come and give us the information that we need. You can't afford to miss the shows on T2I TV UK. You need to really have an alarm every Tuesday, Thursday, and every Saturday, 7 p.m. GMT and 8 p.m. British Summer Time. You can't afford to miss it. We are always here. And also, if you are watching us for the first time, just follow us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube, also Twitter and Instagram, so that you always get alerts when we come live. And this can be your token of support to us. Why? Because we want this platform to be an African platform, and for those in diaspora, an education hub where we will change the mindset of our people. And this can be done. We have really supported other platforms. We are not aligned to our culture and our knowledge base, but this is our own. So let's take it to the next level. So Dr. P.K. Senyo, thank you very much for your time, and God richly bless you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And for everyone, see you on Tuesday.
I believe that you are able to do exceedingly abundantly, far above all I could ask or think. Believe, yes, I believe. You say, I believe that you are able to do exceedingly abundantly, far above all I could ask or think.
I am so excited because the Step Out TV shows are back live on T2I TV. And for those who don't know, Step Out is a series of interviews and motivational segments designed to bring the best out of you and your business. Therefore, we have the following TV programs. Our first TV program, which is our flagship program, dubbed Step Out with Oscar Bimpong, is designed to interview consultants, experts, talented people, and those doing exceptionally well in their communities. The second one is Step Out SME Focus. This is where we interview business owners and showcase their products and services. The third one is Step Out Youth Impact Zone. This is where we interview young people succeeding against all odds to serve as an inspiration to other young people. And the last one is Step Out Authors Corner. And this is where we interview authors to share what their book is about to the world. Join us every week at 7 p.m. GMT. Like T2I TV on Facebook and subscribe to the YouTube channel. To advertise or for further information, do WhatsApp 924 or email info@traintoinspire.com. T2I TV, we engage, educate, enlighten, and empower.